Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining me on this live. So, I'm just going to get started here. I know there's not a lot of people on right now, but I just wanted to come on and have a little bit of a chat about LifeWave. And LifeWave's been around for 20 years this year. And I just wanted to kind of go through and break that down a little bit for you because a lot of people are like, does this stuff actually work? What's going on with it? Why is it not well known if it's been around for 20 years? So, as every other business, it has its ups and downs. And when LifeWave started, it started off developing stuff for the Navy SEALs. So, David, the inventor, David Schmidt, wonderful man, amazing man. He's very well spoken and very polite and very honorable, which I love about him. So, one of the things that I found was okay, where did he get started? He got started with the Navy SEALs. So, if the Navy SEALs are asking him to develop something and he does do it and they use it and it works for them, does that mean that they work? Good chance, right? Okay, let's move on. Next, they move into athletes. So, they got into Olympic athletes. What happened? They used them. Those Olympic athletes, they were on the swimming team when they went and started using them. And one of the things that they found was that they were besting their own times. Is that a coincidence? Well, they do beat their own times, but if they're beating their own records repeatedly, one after another, doesn't that generally tell you that maybe it's doing something? Hmm, Interesting. At least I think it's interesting. And sorry, I got a little bit of a tickle in my throat and I'm clearing it every once in a while, so I apologize. I might have a drink of water here and there as well. But getting back to dealing with the Olympic athletes, they were said, oh, well, you can't use those because something's going into the skin. And they came back, LifeWave came back and said, actually, nothing is going into the skin. They just sit on top of the skin and they send a gentle bead of light into the skin. They're like, well, we have to test them. So they took them and they tested them. They tested them in universities. And they found and they proved that nothing transfers from the patches over into the skin. Interesting. So, how do they work? Hmm, let's keep on going, right? As the years went on, they made numerous different patches, and slowly the business grew. They made patches for skin, they made patches for inflammation, they made patches for energy, they made patches to increase different things in the body. So there's a whole array of different packages. But then about 6 years ago, they made one called X39. So LifeWave X39 is their flagship patch, and it activates your cells, is a general way of putting it. It doesn't do anything for the body, but it tells the body what to do, right? That's how it works. It's like a programmer. If you're going to plug a program into something, you need it to tell it to do something. You're like, how in the hell does this happen? How does a patch actually tell a body what to do? Well, how much do you know about frequencies? Frequencies are amazing. Every single thing in your body vibrates at a different frequency. Your lungs vibrate different than your heart. Your heart vibrates different than your guts, right? Your skin vibrates differently. Your hair follicles vibrate differently. Everything vibrates at a different frequency. And when you're stimulating the skin with low levels of light and you're kind of prompting the body to do certain things, hmm, interesting. Does it work? Well, I don't know. They're in how many different countries? Does anybody know? If you know, throw it down on the chat or in the comments if you're rewatching this, because I'm really curious to know if you know how many. But they're in over 80 countries, right? They have over 90 different patents on it, on different things. So they have so much data backing up what they're doing, and they have so many personal testimonials that just blows people away. Okay, we did X39, so now they moved on to the next one, and they came out with X49. That was a little while later. And now X49 does something a little bit different again. But it has completely revolutionized people that are suffering from certain ailments. And I'm not going to go into the details of each one because honestly, if you want to know more about all the things that it goes into, you're better off to actually email me and we'll have a sit down and chat and say, okay, what is it that is bothering you and what do you want to see from it? And then we can go, okay, well, if you do this, there is a good chance that this is what you're going to find. Interesting. Okay, I want to go into something really quickly here. I've got a video up and it's David Schmidt and he talks about the 20 years. So I'm going to play a little bit of the video and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. And I might play a little bit more. And as we go through, just have a little conversation about it because I really want you to hear what he has to say because the way he speaks about it is amazing and it's neat to see. This is a community of people that are working together to live healthier, happier lives without taking anything over the counter. I'm not saying that nobody takes anything. There's a perfect time and a perfect place for everything that we do. But this here helps you. So, all right, I'm going to play this real quick. Put us back up on the screen here. And we'll need to make that a little bigger. You don't want to see my mug as much as this. So, okay, I'm going to play this. I'm going to play a little bit. We'll stop and we'll have a little chat. All right.
It is an absolute blessing and a gift that LifeWave has not only survived as a company these past 20 years, but thrived and grown as well. From our humble beginnings in a small home office in Beaufort, Georgia, to multiple offices in the United States, Ireland, Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, and South Korea, LifeWave has reached millions of people, bringing the gift of healing with light. LifeWave is a story.
Okay, so he just talked about all of the different places that this patch is being used. So in all those countries, they have offices all over the world. They also have distribution centers and production centers all over the world because they want to make sure that they can get those patches out to people very, very, very quickly. All right. If they did not work, would they still be producing this many? Question. What do you think? Drop a 5 in the comments if you believe. Did I use 5 before? Let's try a 2. Drop a 2 down in the comments if you believe that these patches work. And if you don't, drop a 1. I'm really interested to see what you thought. Now, they talk about the patches. Do you think that it's a miracle? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say you have to give your body enough time to do the work that it needs to do. The patches are going to support the body, but the body's the one that has to do the work. So if you're 40 years old, or let's say 50 years old, how long should you use the patches? Recommendation? I would say 1 month for every decade you're alive to give it a fair trial, unless you've really abused your body. If you've really abused your body and you're in massive amount of pain, or you have a lot of things going on, then I would recommend maybe going a little bit longer than that. All right. Have a drink of water while we watch this next part of the video.
Story that it should inspire all of us for the purpose of bringing out the greatness that resides inside each one of us. My dream to heal people with light was originally met with ridicule and skepticism. Yet, here we are today, manufacturing more than 20 million patches each and every month. I would like you to remember that when thinking about your own dreams, for with enough patience, perseverance, persistence, you can accomplish tomorrow what seems impossible today.
Did he just say that they produce 20 million patches? 20 million. That means that 20 million people, not just people, but 20 million times those patches have been put on the body. And did he say a month? That's a lot. What does that mean? Does that mean that they don't work? Or does that mean that there's a good chance that they do work? I can tell you from experience that they do work, and my household will swear by them. And so will other people that I have talked to. And the testimonials I've heard from over, let's say, 600 people that I've listened to over the last year and a half. And you say, how do you listen to so many? Because I love to listen to things. I want to know. I'm so skeptical and I'm so curious about things. I want to make sure that I know exactly what I'm getting into, because I want to know that it actually works. So what do? I try to get to know things a little bit better. All right. So I'm going to carry on and keep talking about this. Let's watch a little bit more.
Over the last 20 years, we have evolved as a business, and I am more excited about the future than ever before. LifeWave today is a health technology company, but as we continue to innovate and expand, we will unveil solutions to some of the most important challenges we face in everyday life. These new inventions and products will empower you to have a better life and freedom to live the life you want to. Thank you for being a part of the LifeWave community, and may God bless you and guide you on your own journey, living long and living well.
Okay, so we just listened to a little short video, and this video was full of little bit of nuggets. So he talks about where the patches were, how long they've been around, and how effective they are. How did he say effective? Maybe not. But when he says that he's producing over 20 million of these at a regular intervals, what's that going to tell you? Right? And it's hard to, I never want to have to convince you that something is working, but I want you to have the resources to find out whether or not it is working for you. Okay. And it's very important that if you are going to get into this, that you take the time and you do your research, or you ask questions, or you ask for more information, because the more information you have, the better it's going to be for you. And the more enjoyable the experience is going to be for you. Because if you're going to come in, you're going to say these aren't working, then you're setting yourself up for failure already, because you're going to look for the things that are not working, but you're also going to miss the things that are working. There's a few times where I've spent time with people and they have stated to me, oh, these aren't working. And I go, okay, well, let's have a quick conversation about that. Since you started, how's your sleep been? Well, I've been sleeping pretty good. I said, well, how was your sleep before? Well, I woke up a couple of times a night, and, and sometimes I had to get up and go pee all the time and all that kind of stuff. And I say, well, what about now? How are you sleeping now? And they're like, well, I sleep all the way through the night. And I go, okay, well, if you sleep all the way through the night, then is that not a change? Is that not different? Did you change your diet? Did you drink less water before you went to bed? Or did you change something in your bedroom? And when they say no, I go, okay, there's a little bit of a change. And you say, well, How significant is that, or how important is that? Well, what is one of the most important things that you need in your body from a day to day basis? Is better sleep. Sleep is a phenomenal thing for the body because that's when it does most of its repair work. It's when it does most of its recovery is when you're sleeping, right? So then we go on and we go, okay, what else is going on? Well, I generally usually get a migraine here and there. Okay, well, how's that been? Well, I haven't had any since I started on the patches, so I don't know if they're actually working. And I go, oh, okay, well, if you're not getting migraines anymore, then does that tell you something? Is it actually working? Right? So these are some of the cases that I run into, and it's like, okay, well, you got to take a look at the whole picture. So what did we do? We came up with a phenomenal thing. It wasn't me, honestly. I'm not the one who came up with it, but it's a yearly tracker. And what do? On day one, we just say, hey, write down all the things that you have issues with in your body and write them all down. And then on 24 hours after putting on the patches, go through that list and go, did I see any change whatsoever? Some people say, oh, well, I slept a little better or this or that. I went from a 5 to a 6 and I felt pretty good, right? Or somebody will say, no, I didn't see any change. And then 48 hours and you try it again and you take a look at it and you go, okay, well, what kind of change was there? Did I see anything? Was there any change? And you do that, so on and so forth, up to a year or however long you decide that you're going to use them and test them and try them out and all that kind of stuff. Right? So these are all things that we look for and we try to do because honestly, if you have a pain that you become so accustomed to, when it starts to disappear, you kind of forget about it. It's how the mind works. It's like out of sight, out of mind. So that's one of the things that you're going to find, right? And I just, I take my time when I'm looking at something because I do a lot of research and I do a lot of study. And I know I shouldn't do as much as I do, but I like to get into it. I like to figure it out. I like to discover it more and more and more and more, right? The thing with these here, I slapped them on and I used them and I did them faithfully. And it made a huge difference in my life. I would not be standing here talking to you, obviously, about LifeWave if I wasn't in LifeWave, right? If I hadn't taken the time to consistently use these and get the results that I got, because I would have left. I would have stopped using them and I would have moved on with my life and I would have still been in pain and I would have probably been going to a physician to try to figure out what I can do. And I might have had to go for surgery or whatever else had to happen or get injections or scrapes or something. But I didn't. I didn't have to do that. So was that worth it to me? 100% it was. And I want you guys to have the same result. I want you to be able to find the information. And that's why I want to come on here, is because I want you to get the information so that you can make an informed decision for yourself. I'm not going to convince you. I just want to put the information in front of you, show you the points, and say, hey, if this interests you, then take the step. If it doesn't interest you in any way, shape, or form, then turn off the video and move on because it's not for you. But if it is for you, then let's talk. And like I said before, if you look down below, there's contact information, there's Linktree down there, and in the description, you're going to find all my information. And you're going to be able to contact me. And let's have a chat. That's it. That's all. And if it doesn't suit you, then we move on. Because I want you to be informed. But I never want you to come back to me and say, why didn't you tell me about this earlier? Because for me, that is the worst thing that can ever happen. I would rather have somebody tell me about something early and me have the opportunity to say no than them not to show me and tell me. And I find out 30 years later that they had an opportunity for me to be healthy and be happy. I would have probably got a little bit upset. So, anyways, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching and talk to you later. Bye.